Hello, everybody. This is the Traditionalist, and I'm finally back. And so, um, I want to first explain why I haven't been making a video for so long. Well, the main reason is because basically I started this channel during a period during the Easter vacation, but after that I had so much work, I had exams, I had school, and then um, one video that the only person who actually watches this channel, who's Big Banana, he suggested for me to do Israel versus Palestine, and starting to research that. But I realized it was going to take a very long time, and by the time I was done, it would have been too long. So eventually, I mean, I will make that video, don't worry. But it's just that I need to make something more quick and on the spot, like this video. And yeah, meanwhile, on Demographia, I had to, finally catch up since I hadn't been making videos forever. And in fact, I'm uploading a video right now. So at the time of this recording, also Micah History 2, it was much easier to make videos on that because, I already had all the scripts. So for all those reasons combined, yeah. But I'm sorry about that. But this you won't have to wait any longer. So as you can tell from the title of this video, I'll be talking about why agnosticism and atheism are basically the same. So first of all, before we actually get into why that is, you have to define what those two terms actually mean. So atheism is not believing in God, and agnosticism is not being sure about God's existence. And so you might say, hey, well, that's not the same, because one, you're sure God doesn't exist, and one, you're not sure that God exists. But there is a reason why the two are often used interchangeably, and why a lot of people consider them to basically be the same thing. Now, agnostics might say, well, I'm not atheist because I don't, I'm not 100% sure God doesn't exist, God might exist. But in reality, agnostics are basically atheists in everything but name. And the reason for that is simply because the fact is, atheists and agnostics, a lot of them, not all of them, but most of them seem to think that religion is just a set of beliefs, that you believe in something. And although obviously that is true, that's not the only thing that religion is. Because what a lot of people tend to forget is that religion is also a lifestyle. And I think the main reason a lot of people think this way is because most of uh, so-called Christians, especially, although this counts for other religions too, especially Christians, a lot of the people who call themselves Christians don't actually act like Christians. And what I mean is they don't follow any of the rules. They basically do whatever they want. They like almost never pray, probably never read the Bible, and go to church like twice a year. And so even though they call themselves Christian, they're not actually Christian. And you see, this is a major problem because then, since these people, especially in the West, are the majority of the so-called Christians, since the average Christian you meet is someone like this, then people assume that that's, Christianity, and not just Christianity, but just religion in general, is just believing, because these guys believe, but that's it. But they don't actually act it out. But a true religious person, someone who's actually following the religion, that kind of person is someone who not only believes but actually acts, because you can talk all you want, but if you never actually do anything, you can say, oh, I believe in this and I believe in this, but then if you're never actually acting out, following the rules of your religion, then you aren't actually really a member of that religion. And so I say all of this because you see, it's usually agnostics think, well, if I believe in this, I believe God exists, or I believe in this certain religion, then I could be that religion, and therefore I'm not atheist. But as I said before, religion is also a lifestyle, and if you look at the lifestyle of agnostics and atheists, they're basically the same. I mean, the average agnostic doesn't do anything different from the average atheist. I mean, they view the way in the same world as a in like, there's only one life, so you have to take advantage of it while you can. That you only live once thing. Um, Even if they might believe in God, they don't believe that God's actually doing anything in their life, and so they don't actually have to follow any rules. They aren't like going to church, they aren't praying, or maybe they're praying a little bit, but they aren't going to church, they aren't reading the Bible, or any other sacred book for that matter. Um, they aren't following specific like moral rules, and maybe they are, but usually not. Um, and so in practice, basically, agnostics and atheists are basically the same because, agnostics aren't living any differently from atheists. They're doing the same thing. And so that's why, in my opinion, I mean, the two are basically the same because, you can say, well, there's a big difference because, I believe God could exist. But just because you believe God could exist, that doesn't mean anything if you're not actually changing if it's not actually changing your life, if you're not actually acting any different, if you're not, you know, acting a different way. Because, usually you aren't going to be following all the rules of a religion unless you're 100% sure that that religion is right. And agnostics, by definition, mean that they are not 100% sure. So they aren't 100% sure God doesn't exist, but they aren't 100% sure God does exist. And so in that case, since they aren't 100% sure God does exist, they don't feel compelled to actually follow the rules of the religion. And so I think hopefully that explains a little bit of why I think they're the same. If you disagree, write that in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.